most of what I do here was definitely not training that I got in a classroom. For the most part, everything that I know that I do, I learned hands-on. Here we're going all the way from computer model to finished product under one roof. I do something new every single day. Every single watch is different.
Oh yeah, we're out.
Like a month. At this point, there's a month worth of plastic to be done. That'll give you time to do the enamel. That'll take a month to do the enamel.
Oh, and then you can run like 5 inserts at once. Yeah, that'd be sick if you could do 5 or 10 inserts at once, because Mike doesn't have to stand there all day.
Right, that's what sucks.
We wanted to start Vortic because we wanted to make a truly American-made watch. We figured we could make the cases and the crowns and everything else, but we needed an American-made movement. And no one was making them for resale at that time. You know, this is 2013, 2014, we were talking about this. And so as we did research, we found those old pocket watches that have been orphaned from their original cases. And we realized that people were literally throwing away those pieces of American history when they were scrapping those gold cases. We figured, you know, we can solve that problem and save those pocket watches and also make one heck of a product at the same time. And so we put that idea on Kickstarter in 2014, and apparently it was a good idea because we still exist. So in the beginning of Vortic, we decided to use metal 3D printing. It's actually called direct metal laser sintering for our product because we couldn't afford the minimum order quantities from contract manufacturers. So if I wanted to make a watch and I wanted that one manufacturer to just make the case, we would have to order 500 to 1,000 watches worth of cases. The inherent problem with salvaging these pocket watches is they're all different sizes, they're all different configurations, and they were made by, 10 different companies across 80 years of production. And so 3D printing actually solves a lot of those issues because we can make just a couple dozen at a time for a reliable and achievable cost. And then we could design all of our fixtures and post-processing to adjust those cases to fit the one-of-a-kind movements that we use. We kind of tripped into what seemed like a really good idea, and it's also been a lot of fun and a huge learning experience as the 3D printing technology has come a long way since we started.
That'll do big.
So step one to bring a lot of the manufacturing in-house was buying a couple manual machines. And that was our introduction into machining. So I would take a case, sit down there, and use hand cranks to move the machine around. And it would take me somewhere between 3 and 4 hours to do a case. And when I say 3 to 4 hours, that's 3 to 4 hours of hands on the machine. So with our Haas CNC mills, I have to spend a lot more time setting them up. So designing the fixturing, creating the tool paths, testing a program. But once I make one part, it's essentially the press of a button to duplicate it. That's the huge difference. Manual machines are great for making one unique part, but the CNC machines can duplicate that part over and over and over again. Everything we do, I like to think we're combining old technology with the most efficient new technology to make something that's totally unique, beautiful, interesting, with a story, and not charge $50,000 for it.
Our American Artisan Series is what we call it right now, basically our pocket watch conversion. It was actually inspired by railroad grade pocket watches. Those railroad grade ones actually are lever set. What that means is there's a lever actuator system near 1 o'clock on the dial, and you actually had to remove the whole front bezel, including the glass of the pocket watch, to pull that lever in order to set the time. And it was literally a safety mechanism on the railroads back then, so you couldn't accidentally change what time it was. But for us, it makes for a huge engineering problem that we had to solve. And so we invented this casing system for railroad grade pocket watches that we call the Railroad Edition of the American Artisan Series. We decided to mill this Railroad Edition from a block of titanium so that we could make sure absolutely everything is perfect and we could control the entire process on our CNC mills. Really what we're able to make now is the product we originally wanted to make, this amazing railroad grade pocket watch. Now we have a home for those.
Due to the fact that this lever set system requires access to the movement, it is a huge design issue. I don't know the number of iterations that we did before we got to this final version, but just every day we were like, how are we going to solve this? We used the big whiteboard and we just kind of sat down and said, what's possible? They would throw out a crazy idea and I'd say, I guess I could try and make that, see if it works. Let's see if this works, let's see if that works. It'd be very strange to sell a watch where a customer can touch the dial. And it'd be very strange to sell a watch that's not water resistant. So those two things alone are really what motivate the removable bezel. First of all, it uses a cam lock system instead of a thread. Before, it was very difficult to get the front of the watch off. And when you take off that bezel, the crystal is still in the watch, so the customer does not have any access to the dial. This product is definitely a result of iteration, and thinking outside the box.
What's next for us is fully modern watches. And we're still going to make the Artisan Series with the old pocket watches, but we can layer on a new product line that we can completely design from the ground up, work with the Swiss experts making modern movements for us, and build a product that is truly Vortic, that says it on the dial. And I think that all really ties in well to what we stand for in our tagline, which we say, America wasn't assembled, it was built. And we say that because every watch we make is built here. We try to make as much of it in Colorado, in this building, as we possibly can. And I think that's what separates us from companies that make thousands of the same thing, is that every watch is handmade just for you. And that, to me, is the difference between built and assembled.